7 common mistakes that could be hurting your dog without you knowing. You think you're the perfect dog parent, right? You buy the best food, the coziest bed, shower them with treats and belly rubs. But what if I told you that your overwhelming love might actually be slowly killing your best friend? What if those daily acts of affection are secretly destroying their health, shortening their lifespan, and causing them pain you can't even see? In the next few minutes, you're going to discover 7 devastating mistakes that 9 out of 10 dog owners make every single day. Some of these will shock you, others will break your heart, but all of them can be fixed starting today. And here's the most important part. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to add years of healthy, happy life to your furry companion. If you enjoy fascinating insights like this and want to see more, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. The love that weighs heavy. Let me start with Sarah's story. She rescued Max, a beautiful golden retriever, 3 years ago. Every morning she'd give him extra kibble because he looked so hungry. Every evening she'd share her dinner scraps because his eyes were just so pleading. When friends visited, she'd proudly watch as Max performed tricks for treats, sometimes getting 5 or 6 rewards in a single session. Sarah thought she was showing love. She thought she was being a good mum. But when Max started panting heavily after short walks, when he began struggling to jump onto his favorite couch, when his playful spirit seemed to fade away, Sarah finally took him to the vet. The diagnosis hit her like a truck. Max was 25 pounds overweight, developing arthritis in his joints and showing early signs of diabetes. At just 5 years old, her baby was suffering from diseases typically seen in much older dogs. Here's the devastating truth that Sarah learned that day, and that every dog owner needs to face. Overfeeding your dog isn't love, it's slow-motion cruelty. The statistics are absolutely staggering. According to the Association for Pet Obesity Prevention, 59% of dogs in the United States are classified as overweight or obese. That's more than half of all dogs carrying dangerous excess weight. But here's what makes this even more heartbreaking. Most owners don't even realize their dogs are overweight. Dr. Ernie Ward, founder of the Association for Pet Obesity Prevention, sees this daily in his practice. He describes walking into examination rooms where owners proudly present their 90-pound Labrador, saying she looks great when that same dog is actually 15 pounds overweight. We've normalized obesity in our pets to such a degree that we can't even recognize it anymore. Scientists call this the fat pet gap, the dangerous misalignment between what we think a healthy dog should look like and what healthy actually means. When excess weight becomes the norm in our minds, we stop seeing the problem right in front of us. But why does this matter so much? Let me tell you about the hidden costs of those extra pounds. When your dog is overweight, every single day becomes a struggle. Their joints carry more pressure than they were designed to handle, leading to painful arthritis that makes every step uncomfortable. Their heart works overtime, pumping blood through a larger body, increasing the risk of heart disease and high blood pressure. Their pancreas struggles to process excess sugar, dramatically increasing diabetes risk, and overweight cats have almost 4 times the risk of developing this life-threatening condition. The financial impact is equally devastating. According to the Banfield Pet Hospital's State of Pet Health report, owners of overweight pets spend 17% more on healthcare costs than those with healthy weight dogs. They spend almost 25% more on medications. That extra food you're giving out of love, it's literally costing you thousands of dollars in veterinary bills. But the emotional cost is the highest of all. Overweight dogs live shorter lives. They experience chronic pain. They lose their zest for life, their energy, their playfulness. The very essence of what makes them the joyful companions we adore slowly fades away. Now I know what you're thinking. But I don't overfeed my dog. I follow the feeding guidelines on the bag exactly. Here's the problem. Those feeding guidelines are designed for the average adult dog across all life stages. They're far too broad to accommodate your specific dog's needs. If your dog is spayed or neutered, which most are, their energy requirements drop by 20 to 30%. That means if you're following the bag's recommendations, you're already overfeeding by nearly a third. Dr. Ward puts it perfectly. I see so many pet owners say, "I'm feeding exactly what they say on the bag," and it's like, no, that's too much. So how do you know if your dog is carrying dangerous excess weight? There's a simple test you can do right now, wherever you are. If your dog is nearby, call them over. Place your hands on their rib cage, just behind their front legs, and gently feel for their ribs. If you can easily feel the ribs under a thin layer of muscle and fat, similar to how the back of your hand feels, your dog is at a healthy weight. If the ribs feel more like the fleshy palm of your hand, or if you can't feel them at all, your dog is overweight. Look for other warning signs too. Does your dog seem less energetic than they used to be? Do they pant heavily after minimal exercise? Have they lost interest in playing or going for walks? These aren't signs of aging or laziness. They're red flags that excess weight is stealing your dog's quality of life. The good news is that this is completely reversible. Weight loss in dogs, when done properly with veterinary guidance, can add years to their life and dramatically improve their daily comfort and happiness. But here's what's truly terrifying. Overfeeding is just the beginning. There's something even more dangerous happening in homes across the country right now. Something so common that most owners do it multiple times per week without thinking twice. It's hiding in your kitchen cabinets, your refrigerator, maybe even in your hand right now as you watch this video. And when dogs consume it, the results can be fatal within hours. The scariest part? Most loving owners have no idea they're playing Russian roulette with their pet's life every single time they share this seemingly innocent. The hidden poison on your counter. That seemingly innocent food I was talking about, it's sitting in your kitchen right now. Maybe it's in your fruit bowl, your spice rack, or even in the sandwich you had for lunch. And here's the terrifying reality. Dogs represent 70 to 80% of all animal poisoning cases, and food accounts for nearly 15% of all hazardous exposures reported to veterinary poison control centers. Let me tell you about Jake, a curious beagle who almost didn't make it home last Christmas. His family was preparing holiday cookies when Jake managed to sneak just 4 grapes from the counter. 4 tiny grapes. Within hours, he was vomiting uncontrollably. By the next morning, he was lethargic and refusing to eat. His family rushed him to the emergency vet, where blood tests revealed his kidneys were already beginning to shut down. 4 grapes nearly killed a 30-pound dog. The most heartbreaking part? Jake's family had no idea grapes were toxic. They thought they were giving him a healthy snack. This is happening in homes everywhere, every single day. Well-meaning families unknowingly turning their kitchens into minefields for their beloved pets. And the scariest part is how many of these toxic foods seem completely harmless to us. Let's start with the big 3 that are lurking in almost every household. First, the allium family, the silent blood destroyers. Onions, garlic, leeks, chives, and even onion powder are all members of the allium family, and they're absolutely devastating to dogs. These contain compounds called sulfoxides and sulfides that literally destroy your dog's red blood cells. The technical term is hemolytic anemia, but what it means in simple terms is that your dog's blood can no longer carry oxygen properly throughout their body. Here's what makes this particularly insidious. The effects aren't immediate. Your dog might eat something with onion powder today and not show symptoms for several days. By the time you notice weakness, pale gums, or difficulty breathing, significant damage has already been done to their blood cells. Garlic is actually the most toxic of all alliums, and it's hidden in so many foods we don't even think about. That leftover pizza with garlic sauce? That marinade you used on last night's chicken? Those baby food jars that some people use to give pills to their dogs? Many contain onion powder. Even small amounts consumed regularly can build up to toxic levels in your dog's system. Second, grapes and raisins, the kidney killers. This one still baffles veterinary scientists. We don't know exactly what compound in grapes causes toxicity, but we know with absolute certainty that it can cause sudden kidney failure in dogs. Recent research suggests it might be tartaric acid, but what we know for sure is that there is no safe amount. Some dogs can eat a handful of grapes and seem fine, while others can consume just a few and develop life-threatening kidney damage. It's like playing Russian roulette. You never know if your dog will be the one whose kidneys shut down. The 169 cases studied by researchers revealed something terrifying. Some dogs died after eating just a small handful of raisins. The toxic dose varies wildly from dog to dog, which means every single grape or raisin is a potential threat. And remember, raisins are hidden in so many foods: cookies, cereals, trail mix, cakes, bread. That innocent oatmeal raisin cookie could be a death sentence for your dog. Third, chocolate, the heart stopper. Most people know chocolate is bad for dogs, but they don't understand just how dangerous it really is. Chocolate contains theobromine and caffeine, both of which dogs metabolize incredibly slowly compared to humans. What clears our system in hours can stay in a dog's system for days, building to toxic levels. Here's the math that could save your dog's life. Dogs can show toxic symptoms after consuming as little as 18 milligrams of theobromine per pound of body weight. A single ounce of dark chocolate contains about 130 milligrams of theobromine. That means just half an ounce of dark chocolate could potentially poison a 20-pound dog. But here's what makes this even more dangerous. Different chocolates have wildly different theobromine levels. White chocolate has almost none, milk chocolate has moderate amounts, but dark chocolate and baking chocolate are absolutely loaded with it. A small square of baking chocolate could be lethal to a small dog. The symptoms are terrifying: vomiting, diarrhea, increased heart rate, tremors, seizures, and in severe cases, death. And because dogs love the taste of chocolate, they'll often consume much more than the toxic threshold before anyone notices. The everyday dangers you never considered. But it's not just these big three. Your kitchen is full of other hidden dangers. Xylitol, an artificial sweetener found in sugar-free gum, mints, and even some peanut butters, can cause a massive drop in your dog's blood sugar within minutes of consumption. Just a few pieces of sugar-free gum can cause liver failure in a small dog. Macadamia nuts, often found in cookies and trail mix, can cause weakness, tremors, and hypothermia in dogs. Raw bread dough can expand in your dog's stomach and ferment, producing alcohol and causing potentially fatal bloating. Even seemingly healthy foods can be dangerous. Avocado contains persin, which can cause digestive upset. Raw eggs can contain salmonella and interfere with vitamin absorption. High-fat foods, even cooked meat trimmings, can trigger pancreatitis, a painful and potentially deadly inflammation of the pancreas. The heartbreaking reality. What makes all of this so tragic is that these poisonings are completely preventable. They happen because we love our dogs and want to include them in our meals, our celebrations, our daily routines. They happen because that pleading look in their eyes breaks our hearts, and sharing our food feels like sharing our love. But here's what every dog owner needs to understand. The safest way to show love through food is to stick to foods specifically designed for dogs. When you give in to those begging eyes with human food, you're gambling with their life, even when you don't realize it. I want you to do something right now. Look around your kitchen and think about all the foods your dog has access to. That fruit bowl on the counter, those cookies in the jar, the garbage can they might get into when you're not home. How many potential toxins are within reach of a curious nose and determined paws? But food poisoning, as devastating as it is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. There's another mistake that's happening right now, this very moment, that's even more heartbreaking because it's rooted in pure, genuine love. It's a mistake that's creating invisible suffering in dogs all across the world, and the owners making it have absolutely no idea it's happening. This mistake is so subtle, so well-intentioned, that 86% of dog owners don't even recognize they're making it. And by the time they do realize what's been happening, the damage to their dog's health, happiness, and trust can take months or even years to repair. When good intentions create chaos. That mistake I mentioned, the one that 86% of dog owners make without realizing it, it's happening because you love your dog too much. And that might be the most heartbreaking sentence I've ever said, because how can loving your dog be wrong? Let me introduce you to Luna, a beautiful Australian shepherd, whose story will break your heart and open your eyes. Luna's family adored her. When they came home from work, they were so excited to see her that they encouraged her, jumping and spinning with laughter and praise. "Luna's so happy to see us," they'd say, as she launched herself at them in pure joy. But when guests came over, Luna would do the same thing. Jump, spin, overwhelm visitors with her enthusiasm. Suddenly, the behavior they'd been rewarding was bad. They'd shout, "No, Luna, down, bad dog." Luna would look confused, tail tucked, unsure why the same behavior that brought praise an hour ago was now bringing anger. This inconsistency created something devastating in Luna: chronic anxiety. She never knew which version of herself was right. The confident, joyful dog slowly became nervous, uncertain, walking on eggshells in her own home. Her family couldn't understand why their once happy dog had become so anxious and unpredictable. This is the paradox of love without boundaries. When we're inconsistent with our rules because we can't bear to disappoint our dogs, we end up creating the very confusion and stress we're trying to avoid. The training trap that destroys trust. Here's what most dog owners don't understand about training. It's not about teaching your dog tricks or commands. Training is about communication. It's about creating a shared language between you and your dog so they can understand what you expect and feel secure in that knowledge. But when we're inconsistent, when jumping is okay on Monday but not on Tuesday, when begging works sometimes but not others, when the rules change depending on our mood, we're not communicating. We're creating chaos. Professional dog trainer Kayla Fratt puts it perfectly. Being inconsistent with rules, then getting upset about it, is a common mistake rookie owners make. But the impact goes far deeper than just annoying behaviors. Inconsistency creates what veterinary behaviorists call learned helplessness, a state where dogs stop trying to please because they can never predict what will make you happy. Think about it from your dog's perspective. Imagine if you went to work every day, but the rules kept changing without anyone telling you. Sometimes typing on your computer got you praise, sometimes it got you yelled at, sometimes being friendly to customers was good, sometimes it was wrong. How long would it take before you became a nervous wreck, afraid to do anything? That's what inconsistent training does to our dogs. And the most heartbreaking part is that it happens because we love them so much that we can't stick to the rules we've set. The rewarding of bad behavior. Here's another way our love backfires. We accidentally reward behaviors we don't want. Picture this common scenario. Your dog is chewing your favorite leather shoe. You panic, rush over, and immediately offer them a proper chew toy to redirect the behavior. In your mind, you're solving the problem. In your dog's mind, you've just taught them that chewing shoes gets them attention and a prize. This happens constantly with things like barking, jumping, and attention-seeking behaviors. The dog does something we don't want. We react immediately with attention, correction, or even treats to redirect them, and we've just reinforced the very behavior we're trying to stop. Professional animal behaviorists call this inadvertent reinforcement. And it's one of the most common training mistakes loving owners make. We're so eager to redirect bad behavior that we end up rewarding it instead. The socialization window that closes forever. But there's an even more devastating mistake that happens in those crucial early months, failing to properly socialize puppies. This isn't about dog parks or playdates. This is about exposing young dogs to the full spectrum of life experiences in a positive, controlled way. The critical socialization period for puppies is between 3 and 14 weeks of age. During this window, their brains are like sponges, absorbing information about what's normal, what's safe, and what's threatening. Miss this window, and you can spend years trying to help an anxious, reactive dog navigate a world that seems scary and unpredictable. Veterinary behaviorists estimate that lack of proper socialization is behind 80% of behavioral problems they see in adult dogs. These aren't dogs who are bad or aggressive by nature. These are dogs who never learned that strangers, children, other dogs, loud noises, and new environments can be safe and positive. What makes this particularly tragic is that it often happens to dogs with the most loving families. Overprotective owners who want to keep their puppy safe end up creating a dog who's afraid of the world. They wait until all vaccinations are complete before exposing the puppy to new experiences, not realizing that by then, the critical learning window has already closed. The dental disease everyone ignores. Here's a mistake that's literally rotting away your dog's health right under your nose: ignoring dental care. Over 80% of dogs show signs of dental disease by age 3, but most owners don't even think about their dog's teeth until there's a serious problem. Dental disease isn't just about bad breath or yellow teeth. The bacteria from infected gums enters your dog's bloodstream and travels to vital organs, particularly the heart, liver, and kidneys. What starts as tartar buildup can end up causing organ damage that shortens your dog's life by years. The tragedy is that this is completely preventable. Regular teeth brushing, dental chews, and professional cleanings can keep your dog's mouth healthy throughout their life. But because dental problems develop slowly and dogs are experts at hiding pain, most owners don't realize there's a problem until their dog needs expensive extractions or is already suffering from organ damage. The annual checkup myth. Here's another well-intentioned mistake: thinking that if your dog seems healthy, they don't need regular veterinary care. Only about 40% of dog owners visit the vet annually, and many skip appointments if their dog appears fine. But here's what veterinarians know that most owners don't. Dogs are masters at hiding illness and pain. By the time your dog shows obvious symptoms, the problem has often been developing for months or even years. Early detection isn't just about catching diseases, it's about catching them when they're still treatable, before they become expensive emergencies. A simple annual exam can detect heart murmurs, dental disease, weight gain, vision changes, and dozens of other problems while they're still manageable. But when owners skip these preventive visits, small problems become big problems, treatable conditions become chronic diseases, and what could have been a simple fix becomes a devastating diagnosis. The parasite prevention gamble. Finally, there's the mistake of thinking that indoor dogs don't need parasite prevention, or that it's not worth the cost. Modern heartworm, flea, and tick preventatives are incredibly effective and relatively inexpensive, but many owners skip them to save money. Here's the reality: heartworm treatment can cost thousands of dollars and requires months of restricted activity, assuming your dog survives the treatment at all. A simple monthly preventative costs less than most people spend on coffee in a week, but it can save your dog's life. Even indoor dogs are at risk. Mosquitoes carry heartworm, fleas can hitchhike on clothing and other pets, and a single walk around the block exposes your dog to ticks and intestinal parasites. The pattern of love without knowledge. Do you see the pattern here? Every single one of these mistakes comes from a place of pure love. We're inconsistent because we can't bear to disappoint our dogs. We skip training because we don't want to be mean. We avoid vet visits because our dogs seem fine and we don't want to stress them. We skip preventatives because the risks seem distant and theoretical. But love without knowledge isn't enough. In fact, uninformed love can be more dangerous than indifference because it gives us a false sense of security while our dogs suffer in silence. The good news is that once you recognize these patterns, they're completely fixable. Every single one of these problems has a solution, and most of them are simpler than you might think. But before we get to the solutions, there's one more category of mistakes we need to address. These are the errors that happen not because we love too much, but because we don't fully understand what our dogs need from us. They're about recognizing that our dogs aren't just smaller, furry humans. They're a completely different species, with their own unique needs and ways of understanding the world. And when we get this wrong, we create something far worse than confusion or health problems. We create a broken bond, a relationship built on misunderstanding rather than true connection. Let me show you what I mean. From broken bond to unbreakable connection. That broken bond I mentioned, let me tell you about how it can be completely healed and how the 7 mistakes we've discussed can become the foundation for the strongest relationship you've ever had with your dog. Meet Marcus and his rescue dog, Buddy. When Marcus first brought Buddy home 2 years ago, he was making every single mistake we've talked about. Buddy was 15 pounds overweight from too many treats and table scraps. He had severe anxiety from inconsistent rules, sometimes allowed on furniture, sometimes not, sometimes rewarded for jumping, sometimes punished. He'd never been properly socialized and was terrified of strangers, other dogs, even children. Marcus loved Buddy desperately, but their relationship was built on misunderstanding. Buddy lived in constant stress, never knowing what was expected of him. Marcus felt like a failure as a dog owner, watching his beloved companion struggle with anxiety and health problems that seemed to get worse despite all his love and attention. Then everything changed. Marcus learned about the mistakes he was making. and more importantly, he learned how to fix them. Today, Buddy is at his ideal weight, confident and calm, well socialized and healthy. But the most remarkable transformation wasn't in Buddy, it was in their relationship. Marcus went from feeling helpless and frustrated to feeling empowered and connected to his dog in ways he never thought possible. This transformation is available to every single dog owner watching this video. Let me show you exactly how to make it happen. The mindset shift that changes everything. The first step isn't about changing what you do, it's about changing how you think. You need to shift from reactive to preventive, from emotional to strategic, from loving without knowledge to loving with wisdom. Here's the truth that every successful dog owner understands. Prevention is always easier, cheaper, and more effective than treatment. It's easier to maintain a healthy weight than to help an obese dog lose pounds. It's easier to establish consistent rules from day one than to retrain an anxious, confused adult dog. It's easier to prevent dental disease than to treat advanced periodontal problems. This isn't about loving your dog less, it's about loving them more effectively. It's about understanding that true love sometimes means setting boundaries, sticking to rules, and making decisions based on what's best for their long-term health and happiness, not what feels good in the moment. The smart feeding protocol that saves lives. Let's start with the most critical change, transforming how you feed your dog. First, throw out those feeding guidelines on the bag. They're designed for the mythical average dog that doesn't exist. Your dog is unique, and their feeding plan should be too. Work with your veterinarian to calculate your dog's ideal body weight and daily caloric needs based on their age, activity level, and whether they're spayed or neutered. Remember, spaying and neutering reduces energy requirements by 20 to 30%, so most dogs need significantly less food than you think. Measure every single meal. Buy a kitchen scale and weigh your dog's food rather than using cups, which can vary wildly in actual volume. Track treats as part of their daily calories. Treats should never exceed 10% of their total daily intake. Create a family feeding plan. Everyone in your household needs to know the rules. Who feeds the dog, when, and how much. No exceptions, no extra treats, no table scraps. This isn't about being mean. It's about being consistent and keeping your dog healthy. Set up regular weigh-ins. Monthly weight checks can catch problems before they become serious. If your dog gains even 2 pounds, adjust their food immediately. Remember, 5 pounds on a dog is equivalent to 15 or 20 pounds on a human. It's significant. The kitchen safety system. Next, transform your kitchen from a potential death trap into a safe space. Create a comprehensive list of toxic foods and post it where everyone can see it. Include the big 3 we discussed: onions, garlic, grapes, raisins, and chocolate, but also add xylitol, macadamia nuts, avocado, raw dough, and alcohol. Train every family member and frequent visitor about these dangers. Make it a house rule: no human food for the dog ever without checking the safe food list first. When in doubt, don't risk it. Secure your garbage cans with tight-fitting lids or store them in cabinets your dog can't access. You'd be amazed how many emergency vet visits happen because dogs got into trash containing toxic foods. Keep emergency numbers readily available: your veterinarian's number, the nearest emergency animal hospital, and the ASPCA Animal Poison Control Center at 888-426-4435. Program these into every family member's phone. The consistency training revolution. Now let's fix the training and behavioral issues with a system that works. The key is consistency, but not just from you, from everyone who interacts with your dog. Start by writing down your house rules. Can the dog be on furniture? Are they allowed to jump on people? What are the commands you'll use for basic behaviors? Everyone in your household needs to use the same words, the same rules, and the same responses. Implement what trainers call "nothing in life is free." Your dog should earn everything: food, attention, toys, walks, by performing a simple command first. This isn't about dominance, it's about creating clear communication and giving your dog a way to succeed. Address behavioral problems immediately, but here's the critical part. Only correct behaviors as they happen, never after the fact. If you come home to find your dog has had an accident or chewed something they shouldn't have, clean it up and move on. Punishing them hours later will only create confusion and anxiety. The socialization and enrichment plan. If you have a puppy, prioritize socialization above almost everything else. The window between 3 and 14 weeks is critical, but socialization should continue throughout your dog's life. Expose them gradually and positively to new people, animals, sounds, and environments. For adult dogs who missed early socialization, it's not too late, but it requires patience and often professional help. Work with a qualified trainer or behaviorist to create a desensitization plan that helps your dog gain confidence without overwhelming them. Don't forget mental stimulation. Dogs, especially intelligent breeds, need jobs to do and problems to solve. Puzzle feeders, training sessions, new walking routes, and interactive toys can prevent boredom and destructive behaviors. The health monitoring system create a simple monthly health check routine. Weigh your dog, examine their teeth and gums, feel for lumps or changes in their body, and observe their energy levels and behaviors. Note any changes, no matter how small. Schedule annual veterinary exams and stick to them, even if your dog seems perfectly healthy. These visits are about prevention, not just treatment. Your vet can catch problems you can't see and provide guidance on everything from nutrition to behavior. Stay current on parasite prevention. The monthly cost of heartworm, flea, and tick prevention is far less than the cost of treating the diseases they prevent. Think of it as insurance for your dog's health. Don't neglect dental care. Brush your dog's teeth regularly, provide appropriate dental chews, and schedule professional cleanings as recommended by your vet. Your dog's heart, liver, and kidneys will thank you. The real-life transformation. Remember Marcus and Buddy. Here's what their transformation looked like in numbers. Buddy lost 15 pounds over 6 months and went from having limited mobility to hiking 5 miles with Marcus every weekend. His anxiety medication was gradually reduced and eventually eliminated as his confidence grew through consistent training and socialization. But the most remarkable change was in their relationship. Marcus went from dreading walks with an anxious, reactive dog to looking forward to adventures with his confident, well-behaved companion. Their bond shifted from one based on Marcus's guilt and Buddy's confusion to one based on clear communication and mutual respect. Veterinary bills dropped dramatically too. Instead of emergency visits for anxiety-related digestive issues and obesity-related problems, their vet visits became routine preventive care. Marcus estimates he's saved thousands of dollars while dramatically improving Buddy's quality of life. Your dog can't wait. Another day. Here's what I want you to understand. Every single day you wait to implement these changes is another day your dog continues to suffer unnecessarily. It's another day of potential health problems, confusion, and missed opportunities for connection. But here's the beautiful part. You can start today. Right now. Choose one thing from this video. Maybe it's measuring your dog's food. Maybe it's scheduling that overdue vet appointment. Maybe it's establishing consistent house rules with your family. Your dog has been waiting their entire life for you to become the owner they need. They've been patient with your mistakes, forgiving of your inconsistencies, and loving despite the confusion. Now it's time to give them what they deserve. An owner who loves them wisely, not just deeply. The transformation isn't just possible, it's inevitable when you have the right knowledge and the commitment to use it. Your dog's best life is waiting. Don't make them wait any longer. If this video has opened your eyes to ways you can better care for your furry friend, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. What's the first change you're going to make? I read and respond to every comment, so let me know how I can support you on this journey. And if you found this information valuable, please consider subscribing. There's so much more to learn about giving our dogs the amazing lives they deserve, and I'm here to help you every step of the way.